What is going on, sir? What is up, Reefing with O? I want to do a quick live stream. As the title states, pH swings during the holidays and high phosphates. Um, Basically, I had about 9 or 10 people over last night, and the pH dropped significantly. And today, I'm gonna have more than 9 or 10 people over at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So it'll be interesting to look at the pH graphs on the apex a couple hours after they've come and gone. So it's something that you don't really ever put a lot of thought into, and I surely didn't. And the only reason I even looked at my apex last night was because I remember reading somewhere where multiple people in a room could affect the pH in a reef tank, and sure enough, um, my pH dropped pretty low. I'll have to go back to the chart and um, specify for sure where it was, but it'll be interesting today to see how low it gets. And then, of course, the phosphates. I used the phosphorus Hannah checker, and I did 3 tests yesterday. I used 2 vials for the first 2 tests. Those tests came back at like 59 and 67, and then ultimately, what my phosphates are, they're like 0.18, 0.20, 0.21. They're high. Um, Merry Christmas to you, Ricky. Um, and I have zero nitrates. So I actually have the standards for the phosphorus test kit. And whenever I ran it, the standard came back at 107. And the standard is 100 plus or minus 10. So it was in line. So I've increased to 4 LEDs on the algae scrubber, and it's probably close time to do a water change on this tank. So I doubt I'll get to that today or tomorrow, but Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to try to do a water change on here. And then if you don't know already, I'm sure most of you do, but if you don't know who CJ is, um, he did a video recently on tuning your gyre controller to different flow patterns. So you can see the A here for automatic. So I have about 9 different flow patterns set up now. And it's a really awesome feature because now I can set up my gyre blow at like 60% constant mode just to get stuff in the tank stirred up. So if you don't know who CJ's Aquariums is, look him up on YouTube. And he did a long video on it and a short video. And they're both very informative, especially if you're running gyre pumps. Merry Christmas to you, Jonas. I saw a comment a second ago said somebody just picked up a Reefer 250. Congratulations. You're really going to love the tank. You can see right now that I do not have the top on the tank. So the Kessels are on, and the lunar lights, the T5s, will come on in about 50 minutes or so. But I actually had a Halloween crab. This big bird's nest is actually on its own rock. It's not mounted anything, but this morning whenever I looked up, that had almost come tumbling down. And you can see this could be a ripple effect or a snowball effect, because if this big piece comes down, it's going to inadvertently take out multiple other corals. So you can see on the green slimer, my super glue job was not that great, because yesterday morning, again, whenever I woke up, I guess a crab had knocked it off the rock work. So I just had to stick my hand in there and glue it back. But I want to do a quick live stream. Um, the whole pH thing was pretty new to me, pretty interesting. It's something that I definitely didn't think about, was having people in the house and how it affects the tank. And I know that the solution would be to run the line outside. So this is actually my skimmer line. It is not going outside, but it is going at least outside of my stand so that it can pull in some fresh air. And I could go, that's an outside wall, so I could actually run a line outside. But a couple of caveats with that. The camera's probably a little shaky, I apologize. Number one, this is a pretty new house, so really don't want to drill a hole through the wall, personally. And secondly, I don't think my wife would go for it. And I know that sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but I don't know if I'm going to press my luck on that one too much because ultimately, a couple times a year we have people over, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. But the Kessels came on a couple hours ago, so everything's pretty well opened up. So everything's doing pretty good for the most part. The phosphates are pretty baffling to me. There's some, I guess my internet connection's probably kind of lagging a little bit. But this one, this guy right here is a Rico frag, and it's getting some green on the top. Have I considered running ozone? I have not considered running ozone. Reefing with O runs ozone, and he really likes it. Matter of fact, he runs his tank with the Triton method, and from my understanding, Triton does not recommend running ozone with the Triton method, but Reefing with O likes ozone so much, I suppose. He can speak for this. I don't really want to speak for him. I've had some side conversations with him. Merry Christmas to you, Stephen. But he is running ozone on his tank with the Triton method just because I guess he likes it. So I don't know anything about ozone, to be honest with you. So it would take some research for me to get up to speed on what it is, what it's going to do, yada, yada, yada. Ultimately, really the deciding factor is the fact that pretty sure ozone runs on a reactor. I'm pretty sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm already capped for space in the sump area, and I don't really want to put another reactor under my stand if I don't have to. So I missed the last comment. I'm using the YouTube app to do this, and apparently I can't figure out how to show comments after they've edited. I want to see all messages. Yeah. I just saw a comment a second ago about someone just ordered a Reefer 250. I think that's what the message said. So if that is what it said, congratulations. You're really going to love it. Speaking with Reefing with O, he's got the 350, the Reefer 350, I believe. So if you don't know who he is, I know that he's left a couple comments here. You can right click on his name if you're on a computer. I think you can do it on a phone too. Go to his channel and check out his videos because he's done a lot with his Reefer, and he's also got the Aquatic Life 48-inch version with the Kessil 360. So I basically have the junior of his senior. And he's doing the Triton method. He's always doing something. So he reminds me of a lot of myself because we like equipment, we like to tinker with things. I think he beats me in that aspect, but that's fine. Sometimes I like to learn from other people and their mistakes. No, I'm joking with you. But everything's doing good. I moved this toadstool. I moved the toadstool. Yeah, I noticed that the video is pretty choppy, and really the only thing I can think about is I actually have good internet speed, but since it's Sunday and it's 11 a.m., everybody's probably at home streaming Netflix and everything else. So I'd say there's a bottleneck at the end of my street. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas, Mass Aquariums. Merry Christmas, Angelic. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the video, so, and it may be just me because I'm actually just holding the camera. But again, I'll touch on this real quick. CJ did a video on it. The automatic settings on the Gyre controller. So I started setting it up yesterday. I finished setting it up today. I was a little confused. I didn't know that you had to set both A and B pumps at the same time. So I got it squared away. And I got about 8 or 9 different schedules on here, and we'll try it out. We will definitely try it out. I know everybody likes to look at the cabinet, so let's take a look at the cabinet. So you were talking about the Ozone, and that's just the air line going out of my stand. And as what I understand, I think you could use that as an input. Get my light to turn back on here. So cleaned this yesterday. Doing quite well. I know the video is choppy again. I think I just need to quit moving around. But nothing's changed under here. Got the DIY dosing container doing acro power A, B, and C of the Tropic Moran balling method, and the Coral Box Wi-Fi doser. The pond matrix. This is pond matrix. And these are pretty cool. I got these off of Anything Acrylic on Facebook. They come from Australia. And then there you are. Alright, let's try again. The YouTube app crashed. So my apologies for that. What I was attempting to do was pull this out, and it's just a filter sock replacement, just an acrylic tube. And I got these shipped over from Australia. Pretty nice little guys. They work quite well. I'm going to blame the technical difficulties on the app and my internet connection, but I'm going to sit right here, stay stationed for a second, and see if that'll work. Wanted to do a quick video. Start one up, Ed. Go for it. I'm sure a lot of people are sitting around now. It really doesn't feel like Christmas Eve. I got up this morning and went to the gym. Wasn't anybody in there, which is pretty typical for a Sunday to begin with, but this really doesn't feel like Christmas Eve. So I got one child upstairs sleeping, another one on the chair playing with the electronic iPad. What's up, Tomer? And the wife went out to pick up some things for our get together here in a couple of hours. So I was going to shoot an update video of the tank. Merry Christmas, Steve. But instead of shooting an update video of the tank, I decided I would just do a live video, kind of knock everything out at once. Just easier to do. So the Halloween crabs have been very good to me, except for the fact that they're now knocking things over. And I actually found some bubble algae up here yesterday, and I got it out of the tank. The bubble algae pops up in here from time to time, and I just get in there and scrape it out. So I'm going to move. Let's see how this works. You can see this right here's got some white on it because something knocked it over and it fell into the scully. And I guess they had a little war yesterday morning. So we'll see if that thing bounces back. But the Ghanies are doing pretty good back there in the back, stretched out quite well. So yes, I guess I should have started this whole entire video with Merry Christmas, everyone. But I had one thing on my mind, and that was talk about the pH, my ridiculous high phosphates, and the new Gyre settings. And the pretty cool thing about using the YouTube app to stream was whenever I launched the app again, it asked me if I wanted to pick back up on the stream versus starting a new one. So very, very nice. Very, very nice. So I don't know if anybody's getting anything tank related for Christmas. my wife doesn't buy me anything for the tank, what she'll probably do is give me money to blow, which won't last very long. Thank you. Thank you, Mike from Mass. I do appreciate the comment. You know, I feel like the tank should be a lot further than what it is right now for as long as it's been set up, but quite honestly, um, I'm happy with it. I mean, it's crazy to me if you go back and watch a video that I put out of in August, September, October of 2017. The rocks were white, 100% white, and they're pretty much now covered in purple. So it's interesting to see how things change and mature for sure. I'm going to attribute my extremely high phosphates to I had a wrasse that was in the tank, and it was the biggest fish in the whole system. And that wrasse has been gone for a few weeks now. I have no clue where it's at. It hasn't jumped out, and it had to have buried itself up under the rock. The one thing that I don't have to worry about is any of the wrasses burying themselves in the sand and then the rock structure collapsing, because the rocks were in before the sand. So the rocks are 100% on the glass. But I'm thinking that the wrasse buried himself and passed away, and now that he's deteriorating in the system. But it blows my mind that I test nitrates, and this tank has never, not ever had any readings on nitrates. So I ordered more phosphorus reagents yesterday. Whenever they come in next week, I'll test again just to make sure. You know, I used the 3 tests that I ran were from the same batch of reagents. So we'll see if that was maybe the case. But I don't think it was, because I ran the standards. I have the phosphorus standards, and they came back within scope. So, you know, I don't know, it's crazy because I feel like with as high as the phosphates are, that there should be some type of ill effects, and everything in the tank looks good. I mean, I'm still waiting for a couple of the acros that Rico sent me to color up, but I put an acro in here months ago when it's just finally hitting its stride and getting comfortable in the tank. You know, and it may be the frozen food. I don't know. Which the frozen food don't bother me because I'm running the algae turf scrubber. So I don't know. That one leaves me kind of baffled. I do need to test my alkalinity. I was going to test it last night, but there were some people over, so I like to try to test it in the evening. That's usually when I test it to begin with. But I am definitely ready for more corals. That's the bad thing about a tank this size, to be honest with you, is especially with my rock work, I'm limited. I'm limited on the coral. But since I'm getting small frags, I'm just going to put it in here and then be in a situation where I have to pull things I don't like. I used, so this is one rock structure, and this is another rock structure. These are both cemented. I used the eMarco 400 cement to bond the rocks together. So none of these rocks right here come off individually. If I grab the top of it and lift it up, the whole thing is going to come up. Likewise with this piece right here. So they're 2 complete rock structures, and it'll be hard to see, but this right here is a cement joint, and of course it was once white too, but you can see the purple on my rocks. So the cement joints are now invisible. And what I did in most cases, so this, I don't know if it's probably hard to see, But this section right here across my finger is also a cement joint. But I took rock rubble and super glued it to the cement joint because it was a rather large joint. So the rock rubble completely camouflaged the cement joint there. You know, there's a ton of different options. I think AquaMaxx makes a solution. You know, a lot of people use rods. I chose to use the eMarco cement, and I was happy with it. I mean, some of the pieces I had to support for 24 hours. Some of the pieces I zip tied and let sit for 24 hours, but they're not going anywhere, that's for sure. So if I ever decide to upgrade tanks and move the rocks over, these are pretty good structures, pretty good size structures to begin with. So, you know, say I went to a 120, I'd probably need like, I don't know, 25 to 50 maximum pounds of rock. And this is Florida Reef rock. I got this off the rock off of reefcleaners.org. I really like it. It was clean, and whenever I put it in the tank, I didn't have any issues. I mean, of course, I had the same startup issues that everyone else has, and you know, I went through my hair algae issues with it, but they weren't really all that bad. I mean, within time they went away. Murphy, I saw you a second ago. You said Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. So I'm really liking everything that's going on right now. Kind of interested to see with the Apex later on tonight what my pH drops to. My pH throughout the night started to come back up, so it should be about leveled off right now, but that's very interesting. You know, you get 9-10 people in the same room, and it affects your reef tank. And my house is what you would call an open floor plan. So, you know, if you're in the kitchen, you're basically standing in the living room, and if you come in the door, you're basically standing in the living room. So, good stuff. Good stuff. I do want to say real quick, I appreciate this. There's 16 likes already. That is definitely a record for me. So much appreciated. I still don't know why the YouTube app decided to crash a second ago, but oh well. I don't guess I really have much else to say. I'm sure I could sit here and ramble on some more. I don't know if maybe I should drop my phone in the tank and see what happens. I wonder if the YouTube app would crash if I did that. I know one thing for sure, the phone would crash. Let's do this. Turn off the gyre pumps real quick. Of course, the video is going to act funky again. I probably should have started this stirring a little bit ago, or excuse me, about 30 minutes from now, so that the T5s would come on. Yeah, Murphy, I mentioned an upgrade. I mean, you know, nothing's set in stone. It's not going to happen for years. I'm definitely going to keep this tank and let everything grow out. So you can see the warfare that happened on that piece there. The bird's nest that has got some dead pieces on it. If you look right there, piece of bubble algae. Got the gonnies down there in the middle. Appreciate that, Eric. Trying to get away from the Kessil. You can see my poor super glue job there. I'm pretty sure that you are correct, Murphy. I think Reefing with O was discussing that the other day, having some kind of starfish or something in the tank that would not allow his tank to have any coralline algae. And the plastic on my overflow is covered. And the gyre pumps get covered pretty quickly. You can see there's a Halloween crab there to the right in the middle, to the left there. A couple hammers. But this rock is, I mean, everything's covered in purple. Shrimp coming up wanting some attention. That is a sun coral, and he's done quite well in here actually. And I don't really make it a point to feed him as often as I should. The dendro, is that what you're talking about, Murphy? This guy right here? Oh, come on, CJ. I got him on AquaSD. It's 3 heads. I think I paid like $40 or $45 for him. This guy's been doing quite well. Got some white around the edge. See if I can get my camera to. So, no flow in the tank. Of course, the return's still running, but definitely couldn't depend on the return providing much flow for this tank. I get asked this quite a bit. Do I run water down the emergency drain? And the answer to that is yes. There is no water going down the emergency drain right now simply because the gyres are turned off. The other thing about this tank is I really wish it was wider, but I would like to scoot this pump over to the left some, and the problem whenever I do that is it blows water directly into the overflow. So, small complaint, you know, I deal with it. This guy's fixing to get, let me see if I can get him off the pump because he's going to get blown away here in 2 seconds whenever I turn it back on. There he goes. But I have to say the gyre pumps on this 3-foot tank work absolutely well. To be honest with you, 2 of them may be a little bit overkill, but I don't really feel like it just because the way my rock structure is. If this one was a little bit lower, then one could probably cut it, but it's always nice to have 2. And I have, for sake of the conversation, I've taken this one off and put it on the back wall before, and it works. The only issue is you can only run it at like 10%. Otherwise, it wants to blow water pretty much out of the tank, just because it's only pushing water. I think it's 18 inches, and in the grand scheme of things, that's not a very good distance. So that's about it for this. I'm going to hop off here, get some stuff ready for the festivities, and try to enjoy the next 2 days, although they're going to be extremely busy. So with that said, I do appreciate all 20 of you hanging out with me for, I don't know, the set version 2 of this has been running for 20 minutes, so I don't know how long this was in general, but I do appreciate all of you that stopped by. The thumbs up, thank you very much. TakeMeUSA.com. I actually follow them on Instagram, so they do some great work. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, and I'm sure that I'll talk to you before the new year. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Comments, questions, concerns, leave them below. Somebody I'm sure can teach me something, and I'll see you all in the next one.